Yet another Trump superfan learns that loyalty to him goes only one way.
I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. There is no plan to save the world or a 4D check.
It was not a Sunday fun day for our future former Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. Remember how Hegseth texted highly sensitive war plans on a group chat that included a reporter from The Atlantic? Well, apparently that wasn't his only terrible decision. According to the New York Times, Party Line Pete sent those same texts detailing military strikes on another chain from his personal phone to his wife, brother, and lawyer. Well, you know how it goes. You can't bomb the Houthis without keeping your wife in the loop. It would be a violation of your marital vows.
So Jimmy Kimmel basically decided that being subtle isn't worth it anymore and just went straight for the throat. Trump and Pete Hegseth didn't just get roasted, they got slow-cooked, reheated, and served with a full side of embarrassment. The audience was losing it like they were watching the Super Bowl of insults, and honestly, the longer the clip goes, the crazier it gets. You're literally seconds away from pure comedic destruction if you dare to hit play.
We both have concerns about it, so we'll see.
Poor little guy had to get out of there before the ketchup bottle started flying at his head. They are so scared of Trump. What is going on? Is he beating them? I don't get it. They just blindly defend him. As of tomorrow, active duty members of the military and National Guard will be required to serve without pay. So they must have been especially thrilled to be called to a mandatory meeting with our Secretary of War / weekend host of Fox and Friends.
The second Jimmy locked onto Trump and Pete, it felt like watching someone discover two malfunctioning lawn ornaments that just won't shut up even after the batteries should have died. The vibe was instant, sharp, chaotic, and honestly kind of therapeutic. It was the kind of roast that cleans the whole stage just by existing.
Marjorie is out and Mom Donnie is in. Trump, I don't know if you saw this, but Donald Trump hosted a highly unlikely Friendsgiving on Friday at the White House for the incoming mayor of New York, Zohran Mamdani. Most people were expecting fireworks, but they did not expect them to be the Katy Perry kind.
Just days ago, you referred to President Trump as a despot who had betrayed the country. You said you'd be his worst nightmare and accused him of having a fascist agenda. Are you planning to retract any of these remarks?
I've been called much worse than a despot, so it's not.
It kicks off with Trump stepping into the spotlight in that classic way he does, with this confident little wobble like he's ready to give a speech, but also wondering if he left the lights on in some random hotel room. Jimmy doesn't even pause before slicing right into that whole posture, breaking down how Trump always looks like he's auditioning to play himself in a bad documentary reenactment.
They're taking his word for it. They're taking the word of someone who paid a porn star $130,000 and claims he didn't do anything with her. Even if Trump keeps his promise and signs the bill, we don't know whether the Department of Justice will actually release all the files or if they'll be tied up in investigations, specifically investigations Trump orders to keep them tied up in investigations. And that is where...
Then Pete Hegseth pops in with that overly enthusiastic, over-polished energy that screams, "Someone told me to stand still, but I really want to point at a chart." He moves like a motivational speaker who wandered into a circus tent and just decided, yeah, this is my crowd now.
All the top military leaders were pulled off the front lines in Portland and Washington, D.C., and summoned to Quantico for a pep talk with Pete.
Should our enemies choose foolishly to challenge us, they will be crushed by the violence, precision, and ferocity of the War Department. In other words, to our enemies, F-A-F-O.
He's sold.
Jimmy swings back to Trump, breaking down the latest headline bait antics the way only he can. One minute, Trump is bragging about a victory literally nobody asked for, and the next, he's rolling out a grand plan that sounds like he scribbled it on a napkin while waiting for cheesecake. Jimmy catches that energy right away, leaning into the contrast between Hegseth's tough guy declarations and the reality that he feels like someone selling protein powder on a late-night infomercial. Every gesture Pete makes looks like he's waiting for an inspirational soundtrack that never actually arrives.
Jimmy jumps back to Trump again, dissecting every dramatic flourish like a season finale written by someone who's never watched TV before. The pauses, the arm swings, the weird suspense, Jimmy just torches it all with ease.
Affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay, you can just say yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay, that's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
I don't mind. Who are we kidding? I don't even know what despot means. Call me whatever you want. I mean, they have the vibe of a wealthy, elderly gay man at the Cheesecake Factory ordering his shy young boyfriend.
Trump rolls out yet another dramatic plan, promising everything while explaining absolutely nothing. Jimmy points out how he talks with the confidence of a man pitching a rooftop theme park. Every sweeping declaration comes out like he's narrating his own biopic before a studio even buys the script. Then Hegseth suddenly reappears with that same spark in his eyes, like he's about to announce world-changing news, even though he's basically repeating something he said 12 minutes ago. Jimmy clocks how Pete always talks with this intense gym coach tone, and the more he leans into it, the easier it is for Jimmy to unravel the drama and expose how the performance keeps getting bigger while the content keeps shrinking.
May not ever know. Trump claims this whole thing is a Democrat hoax, and the reason he refused to sign an executive order to release the files months ago is because it's a waste of time. And that's the thing about Donald Trump. This is not a man who wastes time on nonsense.
We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this on the grounds of the White House.
This is an executive order relating to the use of paper straws.
Changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. I know a lot about...
Trump switches gears again and delivers his next big message with the confidence of a guy unveiling an invention made out of cardboard and dreams. Jimmy jumps in immediately, calling out how every announcement is soaked in self-importance, like Trump's revealing the secret code to the universe. That overly serious tone becomes perfect fuel for Jimmy to turn the whole thing into a spectacle. And the way Jimmy bounces between Trump and Hegseth is wild. Pete brings this leadership seminar-level enthusiasm, even though he sounds like someone who just memorized the bullet points. Jimmy pulls those two energies together and it becomes a full-on demolition derby disguised as a talk show. Trump comes back into the spotlight, raising his hand like he's presenting a historic moment, and Jimmy just calmly explains how Trump always looks like he's waiting for applause no one planned.
The Senate jumped in and voted yes by unanimous consent, which means the bill now goes to the White House, which means Trump's gonna have to sign it. The goal was to have the bill passed by such a large margin that Trump can't put his little orange thumb on the scale and give it the old Cheeto veto, but make no mistake, this isn't over. He's not giving up easy. If anyone thinks he's gonna release all the Epstein files, I've got a beautiful East Wing of the White House.
Meanwhile, Hegseth ramps up his speeches with this motivational, slow-motion running on the beach energy. Jimmy taps straight into that vibe, turning Pete's intensity into pure comedy. Pete ends up looking like a hype man who lost the crowd he was supposed to hype. Jimmy then highlights Trump's dramatic gestures, the pauses, the nods, the sweeping arms, even when the actual message slips into confusion. It's such a self-serious performance that Jimmy flips into a full comedy showcase. And every time Pete jumps back in, he talks like he's announcing the winner of a reality show, which just makes Jimmy go even harder with the jokes.
Well, you know how it goes. You can't bomb the Houthis without keeping your wife in the loop. It would be a violation of your marital vows. What a dummy. So in the middle of the Easter stuff, Trump had to answer questions about this stupid new twist, and that went about as well as you might expect.
Secretary Hegseth using Signal to discuss those military plans.
Are you bringing up Signal again? I thought they gave that up 2 weeks ago.
There was a new report this weekend that he used it in a separate chat that included some family members.
It's all just the same old stuff from the media. That's an old one. Try finding something new.
If we can find some...
Trump keeps dropping announcements like he's narrating a blockbuster movie trailer. Jimmy digs straight into that and shows how Trump somehow makes the most ordinary update sound like the start of an apocalypse film.
The chest puffed out, chin up, big arm gestures. Jimmy breaks it all down with surgical precision, turning the whole moment into a theatrical reenactment built for satire. And when Trump rolls out yet another grand plan that feels like a magic trick, all build up, no details, Jimmy jumps right on the rhythm and exposes how the suspense comes from absolutely nowhere.
Now, nobody knows what magnets are. It's Lady Liberty. Did you ever hear of Lady Liberty? Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. The wind is bull. I'll tell you.
Sir, why are you on the roof?
He's on the roof because it's the only place Eric can't find him. But this has also been a blow to Trump because some of his most loyal footlickers betrayed him. Lauren Boebert, Marge Green, even the certifiable Nancy Mace jumped ship on this one, and now she's bending over backwards.
While that's happening, Hegseth keeps stepping in with the intensity of a fitness coach yelling affirmations into his own mirror. Jimmy studies every bit of that over-the-top determination and flips it into comedy gold. Pete's delivery feels like an audition tape disguised as commentary, and Jimmy slices right through it. Trump then drops back in with that national proclamation energy, even if the update barely matters. And Pete circles back with so much gusto that it feels like he's promising a life-changing breakthrough. Jimmy leans into it all, sharpening every gesture, every dramatic pause, every overconfident line into another punchline.
Video said Elon Musk had an expletive-filled chest-to-chest shouting match outside the Oval Office with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent over who would run the IRS. Bessent reportedly confronted Musk in the hallway of the West Wing and, quote, the F-bombs started to fly, or at least that's what Pete Hegseth texted his wife and brother. F-bombs.
Trump appears again with another huge declaration, delivered with the confidence of someone revealing groundbreaking news, even though it sounds recycled. Jimmy jumps on that pattern, using Trump's dramatic rhythm to create this perfect comedic contrast. Then Pete charges back in with the urgency of a guy who thinks millions of people are waiting breathlessly for his next sentence. Jimmy amplifies that into a full comedic moment, turning Pete's enthusiasm into something that feels like a trailer for a show about overly passionate talk show hosts. Trump follows with another dramatic point, overflowing with adjectives and almost no structure, and Jimmy just folds it all into the comedic momentum.
He ran an incredible race, and I congratulated him. It's an amazing thing that he did. I think you're going to have, hopefully, a really great mayor. The better he does, the happier I am. I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually. I expect to be helping him, not hurting him. A big help. We're going to help him. We're going to be helping him. I'll be cheering for him. A lot of my voters actually voted for him, and I'm okay with that.
What a turn of events! It was like he was giving a wedding toast to his new son-in-law. He's effusive. It's almost as if, and I know this sounds crazy, it's almost as if Trump doesn't have any real political convictions at all. He just says whatever, whenever. I mean, look at these two. They're smiling. He's grabbing his hand. He's touching him all over. He could not keep his hands off the Zoran.
Pete comes back with that tightly packed, hyper-serious energy, convinced he's delivering a masterpiece. Jimmy tears into that confidence with pure joy, showing how the delivery keeps climbing while the impact stays flat. Trump, still glowing with theatrical self-belief, rolls out another big proclamation, and Jimmy highlights how he seems to believe every moment is historic. The big pauses, the grand hand motions, Jimmy flips all of them into fuel for the roast. Then Pete charges in again, talking like a motivational coach prepping for the championship of his life. Jimmy turns the whole thing into the comedic version of a protein shake commercial, adding another layer to the madness.
That was some speech. Usually when a big group of people gather in a room for Pete Hegseth, it's an intervention. But this was a no-mercy type of affair. Hegseth said, we're getting rid of DEI in the military. We're getting rid of dudes in dresses. He said there will be no more beardos, which is what weird people call men with beards. And just as it said on Pete's Tinder profile, no fatties allowed.
Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals.
Trump steps back up with this dramatic sweep of his arm full of theatrical flair. Jimmy points out how Trump's whole style hovers between triumphant and confusing, which gives him endless comedic material. Every emotional gesture, every attempt at suspense becomes pure chaos once Jimmy breaks it down. Pete jumps in again, sounding like he's about to deliver a life lesson even when he's talking about something tiny. The grand delivery becomes the joke, and Pete's passion turns into a full comedy sketch. Jimmy keeps leaning into the contrast, Trump with his self-proclaimed triumphs, Pete with his nonstop intensity, and when Trump drops another world-changing announcement, Jimmy slices right through it. By the time he wraps up, the whole performance has turned into a masterclass of dramatic overkill, giving Jimmy all the fuel he needs for even bigger laughs next time.